Hello everyone, I'm back with yet another episode. This is episode number 12, and today guest is long awaited, very good friend of mine, my brother from another mother, PimTheMack. Welcome on in, man. Hope you're doing good. How
Yes,
have you been?
yes, I am. Oh, very well, man. As you know, personally, just a little bit more busy with work than usual, but other than that, no complaints. Life is great.
Yeah,
Good,
that's
glad
good.
to be here. So yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, I could say so that you've been quite busy with all the work and everything. So since you are also one of the very OG players, I would say from Neo, could you tell
Mhm.
us a little bit your story about how everything actually started with you and Neo? How actually everything started and what kept you into that game and how actually did you get into it?
Okay. So yeah, the first Neo was February 2017, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe I was into the game, the division, pretty heavy,
Mm-hmm.
and actually streaming it and stuff like that. How I first noticed or came across Neo was actually with Spawn. Um, he was streaming it with, I believe, Lord Harkin. He can fact check that or correct that if I'm wrong later. But I think him and Lord Harkin was playing the demo of Neo, and he was streaming, and I just happened to come across his stream and uh, and watched him play the game, and it intrigued me. It just seemed just a fun kind of a fast paced, very entertaining game. Then I watched watching him stream that I was like, okay, I'm gonna definitely look into this and give it a shot. And that literally how I got into Neo just off a demo stream that Spawn I'm sorry, a demo that Spawn was playing and he streamed it and I just happened to come across it. So that was my first ever time of ever seeing Neo or knowing anything about the game. So I didn't really do any kind of research or no kind of searching for video trailers to know more about the game. I just decided I was going to play it just off the strength of watching Spawn play the demo, nothing more. And I guess the rest is history.
Yeah, yeah, you're right about the Lord Hawkins was the name or what was it? Yeah, you're right. Actually, you
Yeah,
told me
Lord
that.
Harkin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Harkin. Yeah, my bad.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was it. Yeah, I actually started later, a little bit later when the drop on PC. But
PC.
yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
remember that.
I heard the story from the Spawn as well, and I know actually that the Kage was also started back then in these days. Gucci, I believe, so many people actually started with that demo, and they know actually how terrible it was back then before it was released and polished. But again, could you believe? Actually, this morning I read the news that was saying that I think they mentioned that yeah, game was in development for 12 years, and they said that somebody should be fired these days if that happened, if that would happen, because that game was quite too long under development. I mean, okay, it was under development that long, and the Koei Tecmo merged and so on. But actually, they ended up with a really good product, and I would say actually that we are all thankful that they made some new change in a whole gaming history in terms of like how the games was before and then what they introduced in 2017. It was something brand new that didn't even exist there. It's absolutely
Pretty
something
much.
new.
Hmm.
So, what are your thoughts about like Neo 1 to Neo 2? So, what do you prefer more? Do you like Neo 1 or Neo 2, or actually both for you are good? Because I know that you are actually the kind of player that prefer like a raw combat without, just like, so to say, skill based without any additional things. Because I know that you actually did not like that much soul cores in Neo 2. But yeah, you could tell us actually more about that.
Oh, I mean both. The franchise as a whole. I mean, what you would want in a franchise or a game that has a one and a two. Um, where in this case it was the prequel to the first one.
Hmm.
But anyhow, you want the game to improve in some sort of like a very integral way from the first game. And to what you just said about the soul core, that was one way that they actually created something that was not in Neo One, and that they added or introduced in Neo Two, and it was great. Even though it was just my personal preference
Yeah.
not to be heavily into the soul cores, it was still a great tool um, that was added to the game. I mean, they gave players all type of creative ways they could make builds or just play the game or engage with enemies in the game. So it was definitely a great thing. But no, but both games are phenomenal to me.
Yeah.
Um, so definitely not one more than the other. But of course you could like a sequel or the next game should be. You should be able to do more than you did in the first game, and Neo Two definitely accomplished that.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. Yeah, I do agree. And I could say, I can pretty say, I believe that you also agree with me that Neo 1 was more difficult than Neo 2 in terms of difficulty.
Yes, yes,
So,
and yeah, with that point, with to your point, in my opinion, it's a lot of different thoughts or ideas about why um, Neo One was more difficult than Neo Two. My reasoning or opinion why Neo One was more difficult than Neo Two because Neo One was, as we said earlier, was a total brand new game. No kind of no. We all went into the game with no knowledge of it, so
yeah.
we all had to learn the game mechanics and all of the and just the foundation of playing the game. We all had to learn that in Neo One. That's why it felt more difficult. The learning curve was steeper and all of the and things of that nature. So yes, Neo One was definitely it felt more difficult in the beginning than of course in Neo Two. In Neo Two, we came into the game understanding the mechanics and just the foundation of the game. We had a full 100% like knowledge of what Neo is about as a
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So that's why it felt a little bit more smoother at the start of Neo 2 because we didn't have to go through that like we did in Neo 1 because it was a totally fresh game. That's my opinion about why Neo 1 felt or seemed more difficult than Neo 2,
Yeah, you're
especially
right.
in the beginning of the game.
Yeah, definitely you're right. You're right. But I could, for example, say that Neo 1, Dream Way of the Demon, strikes way harder than actually Dream of the Demon in Neo 2
I
in terms
agree.
of
Yeah,
difficulty. Because when
yeah,
you
I
get
agree.
first time in a Way of the Demon, and then Yokai with a shitloads of buff strikes you, and then you die, and you what the fuck is going on here? What is all this
Yeah,
red? Yeah,
yeah,
so you're right, but yeah, and also the Magatsu Warrior, he was actually terrifying in Neo 1. Like when you see Magatsu Warrior, you know that you can die very easily if you make one mistake. If you break his arms at the back, you know then the game is over because that motherfucker will not joke around. In Neo 2,
yeah.
it's easier because you can counter him. You can just, avoid and then you can burst counter him and
Burst
some.
counter, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, you definitely had again, but the point that actually just go back to the point of having just more options and
Yeah.
more creative things to do in Neo 2 than from Neo 1. It
Mm-hmm.
just that was another just the burst counter in general. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that definitely made pretty much anything in the game more bearable than in
Mm-hmm.
Neo 1. So you could
Yeah.
burst counter pretty much anything. So
Yeah. You're right. So could you tell me what are your favorite human boss in Neo 1 and Yokai boss and as well in Neo 2?
my favorite human boss, yeah, definitely Sanada or Sonata, whichever was
I see you,
pronounced how you say
Senator.
it. Yeah, I see you, Sonata. Yeah, we'll never forget that
Yeah,
double
I
boss.
I laughed my ass off like because you've been focusing on the what was the name of that ninja guy? I forgot the name. Oh my, what was the name of?
Saratobi.
Yeah, Sartobi Sasuke.
Saratobi.
And then
Sasuke.
you,
Yeah,
yeah, and then you see Sanada approaching slowly. I see you, Sanada.
yeah.
Don't even
I see
try
you,
some shit.
motherfucker. Yeah,
Yeah, because you try to sneak, of course, because he's a. But yeah, I agree as well. Like he's a great boss. So what about the human, the Yokai boss and the Neo 2 and the Neo 1 as well? Who are these?
Um, damn, but I ain't played so much. So the name, but the one with the big, I don't know.
I'll help you.
Damn. in yokai form. Um,
That is Shigizane with a big centipede guy.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
that is
yeah,
Shigizane.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Shibazana, yeah, in yokai form.
yeah,
To,
definitely.
and but him and um, the guy with the gourd in Neo 2, the yokai with the
Ah,
gourd
yeah,
in
yeah,
Neo
yeah.
2.
That's hold on. Oh my God, I'm using that soul core every day. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
that
Holy
just lets
God.
you know
Yeah, I'll
he might
remember
be
it also. Like
the
he's one
Maku.
of the arc yokais. My
Yeah,
God. Yeah, I can't remember either.
but with the hair, yeah, with the hair and the gourd, yeah. So, but him,
Now you
those are my two
confuse me.
favorite.
This is
Yeah,
insane. Like, but yeah, he's a great boss. That's for sure. That's for sure.
those are my
Yeah.
two favorites.
His soul course
I
is
guess,
also actually great. Yeah, I would say like he's also
yeah,
my favorite boss in Nier 2.
that was the only soul cores I used. I mean, of course, when I understood, I guess the power of soul cores was his and just the
Shurendoji. Sorry, Shurendoji.
Shipping
That's the
Doji.
name.
Yeah,
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 I just had to remember
yeah.
Shurendoji.
But yeah, his soul core and just the heads, the what you got the lightning, water, and fire
Onibis.
only bees. Yeah,
Yeah,
them.
these are
That's so I don't use
actually
them ever.
wonderful soul cores. Yeah, wonderful soul
Yeah,
cores.
so
Yeah, like I would say,
just the
I,
fire and water. I never
mm,
used the lightning. So, but just the fire and
actually,
water, only bees.
The fun part, actually, I never liked to use lightning element in Neo 1,
I
but
did.
suddenly Neo 2, I actually started using it because it actually was quite handy. Because we actually had the one element less, so to say, because we had corruption and purity, but you cannot
Hmm.
make a combination of these two to create confusion. Basically, you gotta combine either of these two with other three elements that are lightning, fire, and water. And then
Water.
actually, I was forced to use even lightning, and then I add. It's actually quite good. I also learned
Yeah, it's definitely
bosses,
super
and
good.
that way that I can also dodge them when they actually are slower, which is not that bad. But again, that require of course practice and all that. But yeah, I mean nothing is
Yeah, yeah,
impossible
experience
overall.
level.
So overall, like when you, yeah, that's actually quite interesting. I know you did naked 9,999 floor in Abyss in Neo 1. That was actually
Hmm.
quite a show. I remember that these two guys are actually was quite crazy. So in your, what are your thoughts about Abyss in comparison to Underworld plus Depths in Neo 2? Do you think the Neo 2 did better job, or you prefer Neo one way?
Yeah, that's a good question. Um, of course, Neo One was, I guess you could say, a bit drawn out, but it was still fun. Shit, I did all fucking
Yeah,
nine,
yeah, yeah.
999
All
floors.
of us did. Yeah, all
So
of us
yeah,
did it. Yeah.
so I I'm hard to say. I mean, it might not been enough. Shit, I don't know because we all did all the fucking floors. So
Yeah, it can be difficult.
that's a damn good question. Hmm,
I mean, Underworld 108 floors. That's actually not
108
bad.
floors.
And then you
It's
have
not
a
bad.
depths, and
Yeah.
then you have a depths 25 floors of the depths where you have a bosses back to back. After floor 10, two bosses and three bosses. So that was actually quite nice, but at the same time, it was not that well balanced, I can say, because sometimes you get Hayabusa, Sairo Toshimitsu, and then Sairo Yoshitatsu, and then you are fucking doomed because all of them are actually they can one shot you with some bullshit, and then if you die on third boss, you gotta get back on a first boss, and that's a struggle. If you put a stone there, no, that's actually that is just like torture, like on the next level when you put that goddamn +9 stone. But yeah,
So with what you just said, at least with Neo Two or the Underground, you can actually choose how difficult you want it to be. So that's a great option.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, Even though the base difficulty is definitely probably more than enough for many players.
yeah,
For more experienced players, you can definitely up the ante as much as you want. So that definitely was a cool option to have, a cool tool to have. Something if you don't feel like being that crazy today, then of course you can just dial down the challenge level or difficulty level of it.
yeah. You're
So
right.
yeah,
So hold on. What was the bosses from the Nioh 2? I believe you said Nioh 1 bosses. What was the bosses from Nioh 2? The you mentioned shouldn't OG. What was is there any human boss that you like in Nioh 2? I mean they're not that
oh,
spectacular.
hmm, yeah. Let me think for a second.
They're not that spectacular, but yeah, there are
No,
probably some bosses here and there.
hmm. I mean, everybody got a little fan favorite. I guess the dude with the black teeth, just because it was funny. Um, the grill, the one with the blacked out teeth.
Hold on, I'm trying to
Uh,
remember which one you were referring to. How? Wait, black.
yeah, the black teeth. You kid you
Hold on. What
I
weapon did
think
he
it's
use? Or guardian spirit or anything? Like I just can't. Hold on. There was a. I
yeah,
mean, I
yeah,
can.
yeah, I'm so removed from it, but
There is a yeah okay Sairo Yoshitatsu. That's actually there is a clone fight. Sairo Toshimitsu. That's that ugly side mission. I mean, then you have a
I'll
Maeda
tell
with
you this
spear.
shortly.
Then there is what was the name of the Nobunaga as a boss. There is a Saika Magoichi. There is who else we got there? There is a DLC from DLC bosses Yorimitsu in DLC 2, Hayabusa, then what we got else out of the bosses there in early game.
I forgot about
Tokichiro!
Toki.
Tokichiro? The monkey dude? He's a
No, no, no,
main.
no, 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 no. But it wasn't him. I forgot about White Tiger and um
Yeah,
and
White.
Kamatachi. I forgot about them.
Yeah,
I
Kamaitachi and White
think
Tiger are actually also really nice yokai bosses, but I'm just trying. What
okay,
else?
so you got Azai Nagamasu,
Ah! Ah, okay.
um, Imagawa Yoshimoto.
Imagawa. I guess he had a black teeth. Imagawa, the elephant guy, the guy with the summon
That's
elephant.
him.
Yeah,
That was
Imagawa.
yeah,
Yoshi.
that
Yeah,
yeah,
Imagawa. Imagawa. Yeah, that's him. Yeah, he was actually cool with his silly parries with those words,
yeah.
and yeah, it was
Now
funny, funny fight.
thinking about all the bosses. Shit, I like
Yeah,
Ryoma and Sukuna too.
yeah. Sakuna is actually that's Sairo
Yeah,
Toshimitsu human
Fusion.
form. Is
Yeah.
actually in Yokai form he became that thing. That's
Hmm.
actually quite nice. Yeah, that's actually very good. So because I know that you are one of the people who actually play Ghost of Tsushima a lot, and then you're actually a great player and you play that very well, and you have over 5,000 or so hours from what I have seen. So what are
Hmm.
your thoughts? Is there something in the Ghost of Tsushima that maybe Team Ninja could look at and put in a Neo 3 or something like that? You know, do you think there
Oh,
is something?
the multiplayer,
Yeah,
the
multiplayer.
legend.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so some form of that. It can be the team kind of team element
Content.
of it. It don't have to
Mm-hmm.
be like a PvP type of deal.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Just the
Yeah, yeah. I mean PvE, not PvP.
yeah,
They
PvE.
tried PvP.
Yes. Yeah.
PvP is actually not. It's very bad. They tried it in Neo One. It didn't function very good, and it was
Because
actually
it
quite
was too
bad.
hard. Yeah, Neo, it was too hard to balance. I mean, because you
Mm,
could just go out there with just a cannon gun build and just one shot somebody. You don't even so your skill is not even all the skill you can have in the game can just be overridden with a powerful
exactly.
range skill.
Yeah,
So yeah, that
yeah.
it was just way too unbalanced. So you actually had to go into the game with the understanding with the opponent of
Mm-hmm,
that we're only going to be using skill based weapons
mm-hmm,
type of a match. I think they added something like that later in, but but definitely in the beginning of the game that was just way too unbalanced. So it
mm-hmm,
threw
mm-hmm.
a little bit some people off as far as trying to do the PvP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
But
mean
back to
you're definitely right. I would also like to see something like Legends, like different type of challenges, maps, and things that they can do and mechanics. But I believe, I strongly believe actually that Ghost of Tsushima had separated servers only for that, and they didn't have peer-to-peer connection like Neo had. Neo had actually connection player to player, and I believe Ghost of Tsushima had a server for that, which actually something external. That's why it was actually everything was smooth, no lag, no.
Oh yeah, it was
Yeah, it
definitely
was actually was really nice,
separated,
really, yeah.
standalone.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
standalone thing. So actually, I'm actually quite hyped as well to see that new Ghost of Tsushima. That's it's launching next year, I believe, or yeah,
yeah next year. The
yeah,
Ghost
it's
of
going to
yeah
be.
Tribe.
Yeah, I can't
We're
wait
gonna
for
try.
it. It's going to be probably interesting and then much better than in terms of like everything. They will probably readjust a lot of things and change a lot of stuff. But I would also like to see Neo 3 as everybody else, but they didn't
Oh
give
yeah,
us
for
any
sure.
news.
Yeah,
Ah,
but yeah, as you say, I am a certified ghosty.
yeah,
Uh, but Neo franchise led me into that game.
yeah.
So um,
You could say Neo has a special place in your heart. Yeah,
oh, for sure, yeah, for
yeah.
sure. I mean, as far as I would think any Neo person or anybody in the community of Neo would agree that it is undoubtedly or unquestionably the most advanced combat
Yes.
game. Like it got the most advanced system of
Hmm.
combat in any game I've ever seen. So
Yes, I do agree. Yeah.
yeah, so me, everybody have their own thing as far as what they like the best or different reasons why they think something is better. But as far as just the advanced, I don't know, level of combat in the game that you can engage in, then yeah, it's definitely is bar none. So it
Hmm.
definitely don't take a back seat to nobody. I mean, as we say, definitely the most complex.
Hmm.
If it's your cup of tea or not, that's individually. That's based on the individual.
Hmm.
But just the overall complexity of just a combat system is definitely
Hmm.
the best I've ever seen. So
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely agree 100% of that one. Yeah, I mean, we all know that you actually did not lie that much. Wulong, and I don't know what happened with Rise of the Ronin, but yeah, I can actually, yeah, I mean, it was always that's always fun to bring that, and yeah, we always laugh when we bring that, and we making joke and fun. So could you just shortly say and tell what drive you away from the Wulong, the way the game function, and what was the reason for you to decide, okay, this is not for me, and I will pass on that? Because I know so many people actually had the same feeling. You're not the only one, because that game was something simple, different. I did play it, I beat it, I get it to Renji +4, and I stopped, and I haven't invested not nearly enough hours like I invested in Nioh, which says that of course that game wasn't that crazy or had a good replayability like Nioh.
no, yeah, not at all. I don't know because I was actually pretty hyped for it too, like everybody else.
Yeah, I know.
Um,
Yeah, I could say so because you were very happy when you started that day. I remember.
hmm I
But
don't know.
yeah,
It was like either that sick. I don't remember streaming it over 3 times.
yeah.
So I guess on that last stream, it got to. I don't know. It just the joy left. I guess I don't know how to explain it,
Okay,
but
that
yeah.
yeah, I understand. The joy laughed like you not enjoying that game like you did enjoy in Neo. When you started back then in the days Neo 2, you had that joy all the time and you've been motivated to play and go on and
Okay.
go on and go on and go on and keep everything finish everything, dapps and everything, and you've been still motivated. I remember you've been actually doing these dapps. That was actually, I remember even that stream when you fought Lightning God of Yomi, that bitch. That was actually insane, like how difficult that could seems, but you actually kept up even though that game was difficult because you've been enjoyed. But then I understand from that point that somebody is actually lost interest and then you just stop playing that game, which is normal. Like that's what I do as well. Like if the game, if I don't like game, I just, okay, I will finish it either, or I will not even finish it at all. I will just leave it, which is normal. And what happened with the Rise of the Ronin? That's a good question, huh? I mean,
Yeah. I'm trying to. When was that game released?
this year in March, March 11, Rise of the Ronin.
What Tekken was a big
Yeah,
deal.
yeah. I believe. Yeah, you said you played a lot of tech. You played a lot of tech.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know. It probably was more the same, but I don't know, man. I pretty much can tell you. I guess it just didn't capture my
Your expectations, or?
my or I wouldn't say expectations. I don't. I try my best
Mhm,
not to go into to any game.
mhm,
I wouldn't necessarily say expectation, but I definitely don't go into it trying to compare it to anything else. I try to let
mhm,
it be its own unique.
mhm, mhm,
I try to give it its righteous or fair.
mhm,
Um, I don't know, chance.
mhm.
And so I don't. I try my best not to go in here thinking I hope it's like this or I hope it's like another game, because then that's doing. Then you're not giving a fair judgment or coming to a fair conclusion, in my opinion, of that game. If you're
Yeah.
trying to compare it to something. Now, when you play it and you start understanding the game and get some experience in the game, then you can say, okay, it's similar to this or similar to that. But I don't go into a game trying to compare it to something else.
Mhm, mhm. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's a fair point. Because I mean, I know when you like something, when you enjoy something, and I actually enjoy. I mean, we known each other about 7 years or so. I think it's
Mhm.
over 7, 8 years. It's actually quite a long time. And then I
Yeah.
actually really enjoy watching your streams. And for example, when you played God of War second part, when I see that excitement on the face, like you streaming and playing, and then God, yes, and then you see that
Mhm.
joy. That's the thing that you need to drive you to play that game and stream it, because I know actually you're a big fan of the God of War, and that you couldn't wait. I mean, I actually got through you into God of War. It was God of War 4. Yeah, this was the, yeah, let's say God of War 4, and this was actually God of War Ragnarok 5. I don't know actually how to set it or
Yeah,
call
so I
it.
mean, just the new people just say God of War 2018. This was the
Yeah,
first God
yeah.
of War, then Ragnarok. So, but
So that was actually, people could see the joy that you had in that game, and then I guess
mhm.
that's something that you really need in every game in order to play it. That's a normal thing. Like I know when you played the Ghost of Tsushima as well, like I still remember that silly command, like you know that command when you've been fighting that general at the beginning. Let me get
Oh yeah,
yeah.
yeah, about to put my foot up
Get
your
your
ass.
ass, yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was sitting there in the background. I was laughing like, oh my fucking god! That like you just made a whole song out of that shit. Like,
Hmm.
come the hell on! Like,
Mhm. You're right. That's my ass whooping command.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like,
But yeah, I
but,
mean, it's um, I don't know, man. I don't know. I guess when you go into a game, you I guess find out when you actually play a little bit, or in certain instances, like in Wulong, I guess you'll find out
mhm,
earlier if you're gonna continue playing the game or not. But
mhm.
I know some games just get you and some don't.
That's
But
true.
back to with your original question with Neo, if they with how deep of a combat system it has, I don't know how easy it would be to actually just make a standalone multiplayer um I don't know mode of that game, a standalone multiplayer for that game. I mean, it'd definitely take a lot of work because I mean you can do so much more in Neo when it
True.
comes to engaging with this combat in general. You just do so much more. So I don't know what if they
I mean, that could work. That could work. Like all these waves with a yokais, and then instead
oh
of
yeah, it was like
on a
yeah,
big
yeah.
wave, you would have a boss or something like that. That probably work, but they
Oh
would
yeah,
need dedicated server for that. And I don't know actually how expensive that is for company as a company, and that's a thing. Like we haven't heard any news from them lately. They've been really silent, and I hopefully actually we see something. The last game that a Koei Tecmo announced, I don't know if you have seen, that was Dynasty Warriors Origins. And believe me, man, I'm actually quite surprised. I heard, from what I heard, Team Ninja was helping Omega. Omega, it's another team that works under Koei Tecmo, and the combat in that game looks really nice. And
okay.
actually, that's a mix of the game that you gotta make a good strategy and go around to the different war camps and help your allies, and then you all together, from the old sides, get to the main fight and the new fight. It's actually quite fun. Like, and the graphics looks really nice. That was actually quite surprising. and
Mm.
the combat looks smooth, and actually it's quite responsive, no problems whatsoever, because usually Dynasty Warriors was really really bad, at least in my opinion. But I'm actually glad to see they're doing something new and trying, because I know that like everybody else, or like every other company unfortunately in the world is in a problem. I mean the global crisis and all that. But I would really like to see them back on a track, like all of them, with some new games, new IPs, like keep up improving, and so on and so on.
Mm.
But
Okay.
that's yet to be seen, yeah. So hopefully that changes. That changes in some near future.
Yeah. So with Dynasty Wars, it's been like 100 of them, right?
Yeah, yeah, pretty much. Like you can say there was like a 10, 11 of them, and this was like just Dynasty Warrior Origin. So I was like, okay, Dynasty Warrior, and I'm not interested until I download demo that was free, and I said, okay, let's try it out. One mission, and there was Lubu as a boss. Lubu was actually great as always. Like that guy, even in a Wulong, was a really good fight. Actually, quite difficult, I could say. And yeah, I'm looking forward to that game definitely, to play it on January 25th. So yeah,
oh, okay. So that's
next
right around
year.
the corner.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's around the corner.
Then next month, yeah, next year, but yeah, but that next month. Okay.
Yeah. So okay, so I guess yeah, you probably, as everybody else, would like to see Neo 3. That's actually no
Of
doubts, no
course.
questions. So yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, we are on
Yes,
a
sir, indeed.
31 minutes. So I guess like we are going to stop here this podcast, and like I would like, before everything, I would like to thank you very much for joining me today, for being here and sharing your opinion about this game, and just saying people, the way that you got into that game, what kept you, what did you like, and what would you like to see in their future games. So yeah, once again, thank you for being here, my man. And yeah, I
No problem. Thank
guess,
you for having me.
and then, guys, this was the episode 12, if I'm not mistaken. And I'll see you in the next one next weekend. Bye.